In the annals of history, few men have demonstrated the extraordinary transformation from fierce enemy to devoted believer. From the merchant caravans of Mecca to the conquest of Egypt, one man rewrote the destiny of continents and civilizations. His name was Amr ibn al-As, known throughout Arabia as the shrewdest and most cunning of all the Arabs. He fought against Islam with every weapon at his disposal, yet destiny had written a different path for him. When he finally embraced the faith, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, declared that Mecca had given its finest steel. The Prophet trusted him with military commands that even senior companions accepted without question or hesitation. Today, we journey through the remarkable life of the man who conquered the wealthiest province of Byzantium. He founded cities that still stand, built mosques that still echo with prayer, and shaped history forever. If you find this documentary useful and informative, please like and subscribe to Unleash Facts for more content. Arabia, in the late 6th century, thrived on trade routes connecting east and west together. Mecca stood as the commercial heart, where caravans brought silk, spices, and precious goods continuously. Into this world of merchants and warriors, Amr ibn al-As entered around 585. His lineage traced directly to Quraysh, the tribe that controlled Mecca's sacred sanctuary and commerce. The Banu Sam clan provided him privilege, wealth, and access to Arabia's most influential leaders. His mother, al-Nabiga bint Harmala, came from humble origins yet raised a son of remarkable intelligence. Sources describe young Amr as short and broad-shouldered, with penetrating eyes that miss nothing ever. His physical presence mattered less than the razor-sharp mind that earned him fame across Arabia. From earliest youth, he accompanied trading caravans to Syria, Egypt, and the distant Byzantine territories. These journeys exposed him to diverse cultures, political systems, and the art of shrewd negotiation. He learned languages, studied foreign customs, and developed the diplomatic skills that defined his career. By his 20s, Amr had become Mecca's most successful merchant, accumulating wealth beyond most peers. Yet commerce alone could not satisfy the restless ambition that burned within his calculating mind. The Quraysh recognized his talents and appointed him ambassador to foreign rulers and distant kingdoms. His eloquence in speech became legendary, crafting arguments that persuaded even the most stubborn opponents. Contemporaries called him the dangerous, sly fox for his ability to outmaneuver adversaries through cunning. He possessed a gift for reading people, anticipating their moves before they revealed intentions themselves. This pre-Islamic period shaped the strategist who would later change the face of entire continents. He studied warfare not through battle, but through observation of Roman and Persian campaigns extensively. His trading visits to Egypt revealed Byzantine weaknesses, knowledge he stored for future use carefully. The young merchant developed networks spanning from Yemen to Syria, connections proving invaluable later on. Poetry flowed from his tongue as easily as trade negotiations, marking him among Arabia's cultured elite. In Mecca's gathering places, leaders sought his counsel on matters of diplomacy and complex strategy. Yet despite success and respect, Amr remained restless, searching for something greater than material wealth. When new teachings emerged in Mecca around 610, Amr initially viewed them with suspicion. The message challenged everything Quraysh held sacred: their gods, their social order, their entire worldview. Like other elite merchants, Amr opposed this revolutionary movement, threatening their profitable status quo completely. He became one of Islam's fiercest opponents, using his eloquence to argue against the changing tide. His opposition stemmed not from blind hatred, but calculated assessment of political and economic interests. The next 2 decades would test his assumptions and ultimately transform the shrewd merchant entirely. For nearly 2 decades, Amr ibn al-Aas stood firmly among those resisting Islam's growing influence. His opposition differed from others. He recognized the message's power even while fighting against it. The Quraysh elite relied on his diplomatic skills to counter the movement's expansion beyond Mecca. In 615, a crisis emerged when early Muslims fled persecution, seeking refuge in Abyssinia. The Quraysh council selected Amr for a crucial mission, convince the Negus to return the refugees. His selection revealed the tribe's confidence in his persuasive abilities and diplomatic finesse throughout negotiations. Amr journeyed across the Red Sea, bearing expensive gifts for the Christian king Amr, the Negus. He presented compelling arguments. The refugees disrupted Meccan society and dishonored their ancestral traditions completely. The Muslims in Abyssinia countered with representatives presenting their case before the Negus's royal court. What happened next surprised Amr completely, shaking the foundations of his calculated opposition strategy entirely. The Negus listened to both sides, then questioned the Muslims about their beliefs and teachings. When they recited Quranic verses about Mary and Jesus, the Christian king's eyes filled with tears. He declared the message came from the same source as Christianity, refusing to surrender the refugees. Amr's mission failed spectacularly. The Negus even struck him for suggesting he betray innocent people. This defeat marked the beginning of doubt creeping into Amr's heart about his chosen path. The failure haunted him. His legendary persuasive powers proved useless against the refugees' simple testimony. He returned to Mecca with gifts rejected, his reputation as master diplomat suffering its first blow. The experience planted seeds of curiosity about the faith he opposed so vigorously for years. He attended the Battle of Badr in 624, fighting against Muslims alongside Quraysh. The devastating defeat at Badr shook Meccan confidence, yet Amr remained among the persistent opponents. At Uhud in 625, he fought again, witnessing Muslim resilience despite temporary setbacks. The Battle of the Trench in 627 found him still opposing, yet doubts multiplied. Each encounter revealed Muslims fighting with conviction that wealth and tradition alone could not match. Amr began studying their movement from distance, listening to Quranic verses when opportunity allowed secretly. The eloquence of the revelation impressed him despite himself, stirring something deep within his soul. He noticed how Islam transformed people. Former slaves became leaders, enemies became brothers, united together. By 629, Amr could no longer ignore the evidence accumulating before his eyes. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah demonstrated wisdom that transcended immediate victory, revealing long-term strategic thinking completely. Mecca's eventual peaceful conquest seemed inevitable. Amr recognized when tides turned irrevocably against the old order. His merchant's mind calculated odds. His diplomat's instinct read the changing political landscape accurately always. He journeyed again to Abyssinia, this time seeking the truth rather than opposing it. The Negus, now Muslim himself, welcomed Amr and listened to his questions about the faith. After deep conversations, Amr embraced Islam before the Negus in 629 or 30. His conversion marked not defeat, but recognition of truth after years of observation and reflection. He departed for Medina, meeting Khalid ibn al-Walid along the road, also traveling to accept Islam. The two former opponents arrived together, ready to dedicate their considerable talents to the transforming cause. His arrival caused sensation. The companion of such formidable abilities joining strengthened the community immensely. Amr's conversion in 629 or 630 stunned Mecca's remaining opposition completely. When he approached seeking Islam, he negotiated terms showing his characteristic diplomatic mind still operating. He asked for forgiveness, of all previous sins, displaying humility rarely seen from proud Quraysh nobility. The response came with reassurance that Islam erases all that came before, offering fresh starts completely. Within months, this former enemy became one of the most trusted companions in the growing community. His intelligence, experience, and strategic abilities proved immediately valuable to the expanding Islamic movement forward. Remarkably, just 4 months after accepting Islam, he received his first major military command assignment. The expedition to Dat al-Salasil in October 629 tested his newfound commitment thoroughly. This mission targeted Qudaa tribes near Syria's border, some allied with the powerful Byzantine Empire. Amr's paternal grandmother came from Banu Bali, giving him tribal connections crucial for this mission. He led 300 warriors initially, gathering tribal allies through diplomacy rather than force alone. When he requested reinforcements, 200 more warriors arrived, including the most respected companions present. Among the reinforcements served Abu Bakr, Umar, and Abu Ubaidah, all future leaders themselves. These senior companions prayed behind Amr, accepting his leadership despite their longer time in Islam. His command authority over such respected figures demonstrated extraordinary trust placed in his abilities immediately. The expedition succeeded brilliantly. Amr penetrated deep into Qudaa territory, securing alliances through shrewd negotiations. Tribes including Banu Abs, Banu Murrah, Dubian, Fazara, and Banu Sulaim entered Islam peacefully. The strategic border region came under Muslim influence without major bloodshed, proving diplomacy's power completely. This success established Amr's reputation as both diplomatic genius and capable commander of military expeditions. His next assignment revealed even greater trust, converting Oman's rulers to Islam through peaceful means. He traveled to the distant southeastern Arabian region with companion Sa'id ibn Aus al-Ansari. The Julanda brothers, Abd and Jaifa, ruled Oman from their capital in Sohar prosperously. Amr presented Islam's message with characteristic eloquence, explaining benefits both spiritual and practical clearly. The brothers listened to his arguments, recognizing the changing political landscape across the peninsula. Through patient negotiation over days, Amr convinced them that Islam offered Oman security and prosperity. The conversion happened peacefully, sparing Oman from conflict that might have devastated the region completely. Following this diplomatic triumph, Amr was appointed governor of Oman, his first administrative position ever. He remained there until 632, establishing Islamic governance and teaching the new faith. His administrative skills proved as sharp as his diplomatic and strategic abilities in every aspect. When news arrived of the beloved companion's death in 632, Amr faced new challenges. The Ridda Wars erupted as tribes across Arabia apostatized, threatening Islam's survival at its core. Caliph Abu Bakr appointed Amr to suppress rebellions among the Qudaa tribes he previously converted. His knowledge of these tribes and their territories made him ideal for this critical mission assignment. He campaigned through the Hijaz, restoring order and re-establishing Islamic authority through force and negotiation. His success helped stabilize Arabia during its most dangerous period, following the community's great loss. By 633, attention turned northward towards Syria and the mighty Byzantine Empire territories. Abu Bakr appointed 4 commanders to lead separate armies into Byzantine-controlled lands simultaneously together. Amr received command of forces targeting Palestine, his trading experience there proving invaluable for planning. He faced the Byzantine commander called Artabun, known throughout the empire for military brilliance. Caliph Umar reportedly said, "We have hurled at Artabun of Rome, Artabun of the Arabs." This comparison revealed the respect Amr had earned in merely 4 years since accepting Islam. The campaign for Palestine and Syria tested every skill Amr had developed throughout his remarkable life. Byzantine forces outnumbered the Arab warriors significantly, with better equipment and fortified positions everywhere available. Yet Amr understood that superior numbers meant nothing against warriors motivated by faith and purpose. He coordinated with other commanders, including Khalid ibn al-Walid, creating unified strategy against Byzantine power. His first major engagement came at Ajnadain in 634, facing massive Byzantine armies. Amr's forces held their position despite overwhelming odds, contributing to the stunning Muslim victory achieved. This battle opened southern Palestine to Islamic forces, demonstrating Byzantine vulnerability despite apparent strength clearly. The coordination between separate Arab armies revealed Amr's ability to work within larger strategic frameworks. His experience as merchant and diplomat proved crucial for managing alliances with local populations peacefully. Many Syrian Christians welcomed Arab rule, tired of Byzantine religious persecution and heavy taxation burdens. Amr recognized this discontent and exploited it brilliantly, winning hearts before swords ever clashed loudly. The decisive Battle of Yarmouk in 636 would determine Syria's fate entirely and permanently. Byzantine Emperor Heraclius gathered the largest army Rome had fielded in decades for this confrontation. The Muslims faced perhaps 150,000 Byzantine warriors with fewer than 30,000 total. Amr commanded one wing of the Muslim army, his tactical skills essential for the battle's outcome. The fighting lasted 6 days of brutal combat across the Yarmouk River Valley's harsh terrain. Amr's section held firm against repeated Byzantine cavalry charges, maintaining formation under enormous pressure constantly. His warriors fought with discipline unusual for Arab forces, reflecting his leadership and strategic training thoroughly. At critical moments, Amr repositioned his forces to support other sections, reading the battle brilliantly. When Byzantine lines finally broke, Amr's cavalry pursued relentlessly, turning retreat into complete rout effectively. The victory at Yarmouk ranks among history's most decisive battles, ending Byzantine control of Syria. Amr had proven himself not merely diplomat, but master of battlefield tactics and warrior leadership. Following Yarmouk, Syrian cities opened their gates, accepting terms Amr and others offered the populations. His reputation for honoring agreements made negotiations easier, as people trusted his word completely always. Damascus fell to Muslim forces. Amr participated in its capture and subsequent peaceful administration establishment. He balanced military necessity with political wisdom, ensuring stability in newly conquered territories throughout regions. The Byzantine governor Artubun fled to Egypt, pursued by Amr's reputation and the unstoppable Islamic advance. Syria's conquest demonstrated how intelligence, courage, and faith combined could overcome seemingly impossible odds completely. By 639, Amr turned his attention to a prize beyond even wealthy Syria. Egypt beckoned, the Byzantine Empire's richest province, source of grain feeding Constantinople's population entirely yearly. Amr had visited Egypt many times as merchant, understanding its wealth, weaknesses, and strategic importance. He approached Caliph Umar with a bold proposal: conquer Egypt with a small, mobile force. Umar hesitated, fearing overextension and the challenges of maintaining supply lines across harsh desert. Yet Amr persisted, painting a picture of Egypt's vulnerability and the immense benefits of success. His arguments combined strategic analysis with economic projections, appealing to Umar's practical nature completely. Finally, Umar granted reluctant approval, though some sources suggest Amr departed without explicit permission initially. In December 639, Amr ibn al-Aas crossed into Egypt with 4,000 warriors. His force seemed laughably small for conquering a province garrisoned by Byzantine legions and fortifications. Yet Amr possessed advantages beyond numbers: knowledge, strategy, and understanding of local Egyptian sentiment deeply. He knew Coptic Christians suffered under Byzantine religious persecution for their monophysite beliefs about Christ. Heavy taxation burdened Egyptian farmers, funding Constantinople's wars, while locals starved during hard years. Amr planned to exploit these grievances, offering Egyptians something Byzantines never provided: religious freedom completely. His army moved swiftly along the northern Sinai coast, reaching the frontier town of al-Arish. The coastal route allowed supply by sea while avoiding the harsh interior desert's deadly conditions. Al-Arish fell quickly. Its small garrison could not withstand even Amr's modest forces' assault. Next came Pelusium, the strategic Mediterranean port controlling entrance to the Nile Delta entirely. Amr besieged Pelusium for a month, his warriors surrounding the fortified city patiently and determinedly. Byzantine defenders held strong walls, yet Amr employed psychological warfare alongside physical assault continuously. He contacted Coptic inhabitants, promising them protection and religious freedom under Islamic rule fairly. Internal divisions weakened Pelusium's defense as Copts questioned why they fought for Byzantine oppressors. The city fell in early 640, opening the delta to Amr's advancing force. He moved next against Bilbeis, another fortified town guarding approaches to Egypt's heartland completely. Again, a month-long siege ended with the town's surrender, Amr's reputation growing with success. Local Egyptians increasingly viewed his warriors not as conquerors, but as liberators from Byzantine tyranny. Amr advanced toward Babylon, the massive Byzantine fortress at the Nile Delta's head, strategically positioned. This stronghold represented Byzantine power's center in Egypt, garrisoned by thousands of trained warriors. Amr recognized Babylon's strength and requested reinforcements from Caliph Umar before attempting assault directly. Umar dispatched 4,000 additional warriors under al-Zubayr ibn al-Awwam, doubling Amr's effective strength. The siege of Babylon began in June 640, lasting 7 months of fierce resistance. Amr employed every tactic learned from years of studying Byzantine and Persian warfare extensively thoroughly. He cut supply lines, negotiated with sympathetic Copts, and maintained constant pressure on defenders. Byzantine commander Cyrus recognized the hopelessness of his position as Egyptian support evaporated around him. In April 641, Babylon surrendered after negotiations conducted directly with shrewd Amr personally. The treaty guaranteed security for Egypt's inhabitants and religious freedom for Christians and Jews. In exchange, non-Muslims would pay jizya tax, actually lower than Byzantine taxation had been. Babylon's fall shocked Constantinople. Egypt, unconquerable for centuries, was slipping from Byzantine grasp rapidly. Amr established his command center at Babylon, where his tent had stood throughout the siege. According to tradition, a dove nested in his tent during the battle, which he considered sacred. This location became the site of the Mosque of Amr ibn al-Aas, Africa's first mosque. Around this mosque, Amr founded Fustat, which would serve as Egypt's capital for centuries. The city grew from a warrior's camp into a thriving metropolis within mere years of foundation. Amr next turned attention to Alexandria, Egypt's legendary capital and second city of the Roman world. The great port city boasted massive walls, numerous defenders, and naval support from Constantinople's fleet. Caliph Umar initially suggested Alexandria become Islam's capital in Egypt, recognizing its immense importance. Yet Amr objected, noting that the Nile would separate the caliph from his warriors seasonally. This strategic thinking persuaded Umar. Fustat would remain the capital despite Alexandria's greater prestige and glory. The siege of Alexandria began in late 641, presenting Amr's greatest challenge yet. The city's walls stretched for miles, defended by thousands of Byzantine warriors and Egyptian garrison forces. Naval reinforcements could arrive from Constantinople, making prolonged siege potentially impossible to maintain successfully. Yet Amr possessed patience and understanding of political dynamics within the city's diverse population completely. He negotiated separately with Byzantine officials, Coptic leaders, and Jewish communities inside the besieged walls. Each group received promises tailored to their specific concerns: security, religious freedom, and fair taxation. Byzantine Patriarch Cyrus, who had persecuted Copts brutally, now faced impossible military and political situation. Amr offered generous terms. Byzantine warriors could depart by sea, with possessions and dignity intact. The alternative was prolonged siege ending in cities' destruction and massive loss of life. Cyrus recognized Amr's sincerity, having witnessed his honorable conduct throughout the entire Egyptian campaign thus far. In November 642, Alexandria surrendered without the devastating assault many had feared. The treaty preserved the city's population, churches, and much of its immense accumulated wealth through centuries. Byzantine garrison departed by ships, ending 7 centuries of Greco-Roman rule over ancient Egypt. Amr's conquest stands among history's swiftest and most complete, achieved with remarkably little bloodshed relatively. Egypt, Rome's wealthiest province, now belonged to the Islamic Caliphate, transforming Mediterranean power balance completely. Caliph Umar appointed Amr as Egypt's first governor, recognizing his unique qualifications for the role. Amr governed from Fustat, establishing administrative systems combining Islamic principles with local Egyptian traditions harmoniously. He maintained the Coptic bureaucracy, recognizing their expertise in managing Egypt's complex irrigation and taxation. Former Byzantine officials who converted to Islam retained positions, ensuring administrative continuity and experienced governance. 3 of Egypt's 5 prefects accepted Islam to keep their posts, reflecting Amr's pragmatic approach. The jizya tax on non-Muslims proved lower than Byzantine taxation, earning Amr genuine popularity among Copts. He protected churches and synagogues, ensuring religious communities could practice faith without interference or persecution. Coptic Patriarch Benjamin returned from hiding after 13 years of fleeing Byzantine religious persecution brutally. Amr welcomed Benjamin personally, guaranteeing security and consulting him on matters affecting Egypt's Christian majority. This wise policy prevented the religious strife that might have destabilized newly conquered Egypt entirely. Amr initiated public works, clearing canals, repairing irrigation systems damaged by years of Byzantine neglect. He ordered construction of a canal connecting the Nile to the Red Sea, facilitating trade. This canal, called Amr's Canal, revolutionized commerce between Egypt, Arabia, and distant eastern markets profitably. Trade flourished under his administration. Merchants from across the Islamic world settled in prosperous Fustat. The Mosque of Amr became the center of religious, educational, and community life for the Muslims. Built in 641 or 42, it was initially simple, palm trunks supporting roof. Yet it symbolized Islam's permanent presence in Egypt, Africa's first mosque and gathering place for Muslims. Amr's son, Abdullah, participated in governance, learning administrative arts from his accomplished, experienced father carefully. Egyptian agriculture recovered under Amr's policies, grain production reaching levels unseen during Byzantine final decades. Egypt's wealth flowed to Medina, funding expansion and supporting the growing Islamic State's many needs. Within Amar's first years as governor, significant numbers of Egyptians converted to Islam through persuasion. His example of just governance, combined with Islam's message, attracted converts without forced conversion programs. By 646, Caliph Umar died, succeeded by Uthman ibn Affan as third caliph. Political tensions emerged between Amr and the central authority in Medina over governance and policies. Uthman feared Amr had grown too independent and wealthy, diminishing central control over Egypt significantly. In 646, Uthman dismissed Amr from Egypt's governorship, despite his extraordinary success record. Amr's dismissal from Egypt in 646 shocked many who recognized his exceptional governance record. Abdullah ibn Sa'd replaced him as governor, lacking Amr's diplomatic skills and understanding of Egyptians. The decision reflected growing tensions within the Islamic community between companions and emerging political factions. Amr did not rebel or oppose the decision publicly, demonstrating loyalty despite personal disappointment felt. He retired to his estates in Palestine, where Uthman appointed him governor of Jerusalem region. Even in this reduced role, Amr proved his administrative abilities, maintaining order and justice effectively. Yet he could not remain entirely removed from political developments affecting the entire Islamic world. Uthman's policies generated increasing criticism from various quarters, companions, tribesmen, and even Egyptian settlers previously. Amr reportedly expressed concerns about some of Uthman's administrative decisions to trusted associates privately occasionally. Some historical sources suggest Amr's criticisms contributed to opposition crystallizing against Uthman's rule gradually building. In 654, Uthman dismissed Amr even from Palestine's governorship over political disagreements. Amr withdrew to his property near Medina, but remained influential among Arab elite and companions. By 656, opposition to Uthman had grown dangerously, with rebels besieging his house. Amr was in Palestine during the siege, distancing himself from events unfolding in Medina. When Uthman was assassinated in June 656, the Islamic community fractured into factions. Ali ibn Abi Talib became the fourth caliph, but faced immediate opposition from multiple quarters. Muawiyah, governor of Syria, refused allegiance, demanding justice for Uthman's murder before accepting Ali's authority. Amr faced a crucial decision: support Ali, the widely recognized caliph, or Muawiyah's Syrian opposition. After careful consideration, Amr chose Muawiyah, believing Ali bore some responsibility for Uthman's death circumstances. This decision placed him opposite many companions he had served alongside for decades of devoted service. In 657, the armies of Ali and Muawiyah met at Siffin in modern Syria. Amr commanded one wing of Muawiyah's Syrian forces, facing warriors fighting for Ali's caliphate cause. The Battle of Siffin raged for weeks, with neither side achieving decisive advantage in brutal fighting, as Ali's forces gained the upper hand gradually, threatening to overwhelm Muawiyah's army completely and decisively. Amr proposed a stratagem that would become infamous in Islamic history, despite its immediate effectiveness. He suggested Syrian warriors raise Quranic pages on their spears, calling for arbitration through scripture. The tactic worked brilliantly. Ali's warriors, many Quran reciters, refused to fight against holy text. Ali recognized the deception, but could not convince his warriors to continue, despite his protests strongly. Both sides agreed to arbitration, with Amr representing Muawiyah and Abu Musa representing Ali's cause. The arbitration process itself became controversial, with conflicting accounts about what actually occurred during negotiations. According to widespread accounts, Amr outmaneuvered Abu Musa through clever manipulation of the agreement terms skillfully. Abu Musa agreed to depose both Ali and Muawiyah, allowing community consultation to choose new leadership. However, when Abu Musa publicly declared Ali deposed, Amr refused to depose Muawiyah from authority. He argued Muawiyah remained the legitimate governor of Syria, upholding his established authority there firmly. This controversial maneuver strengthened Muawiyah's political position while weakening Ali's claim to universal leadership authority. Critics condemned Amr's tactics as deceptive, betraying principles of Islamic justice for political advantage cynically. Supporters argued he employed legitimate strategy to prevent greater bloodshed and resolve impossible political deadlock. The arbitration's failure deepened the community's divisions, contributing to the first fitna's prolonged conflict. Radical elements rejected both Ali and Muawiyah, forming the Kharijiti movement, opposing all existing leadership. Following the controversial arbitration, Muawiyah rewarded Amr by reinstating him as Egypt's governor in 658. Amr returned to the province he had conquered and governed wisely nearly 2 decades earlier. At over 70 years old, he still possessed the sharp mind that had made him legendary. He governed Egypt until his death, maintaining order during the tumultuous period following Ali's assassination. In 661, Ali was killed by a Kharijite assassin, ending his troubled caliphate's existence. Muawiyah became the unchallenged caliph, establishing the Umayyad dynasty that would rule for decades afterward. Amr remained Muawiyah's trusted advisor, though he focused primarily on Egypt's administration and stability throughout. His final years saw him reflecting deeply on his long, controversial life spanning Arabia's transformation completely. Accounts from his deathbed reveal a man wrestling with his choices during the community's civil conflicts. He reportedly expressed regret about his role in the events leading to Islam's political fragmentation. "I have lived through 3 phases," he said during his final illness before death arrived peacefully. "First, I was among the fiercest enemies opposing the faith, destined for fire's punishment certainly. Then I became Muslim, and no one was dearer to me than the beloved companion whom I served. Finally, I became involved in worldly affairs and power, and I know not if they benefit or condemn me." These reflections reveal a complex figure aware of his moral ambiguities, despite his brilliant achievements throughout life. Umar ibn al-Aas died in 43 after Hijrah, corresponding to January 664 AD. He passed away on Eid al-Fitr's night, the joyous celebration concluding Ramadan's month of fasting. Death came peacefully in Fustat, the city he founded that would remain Egypt's capital for centuries. His final words were, "There is no deity but Allah," the testimony uniting all Muslims then and now. He was buried at the foot of the Muqattam Hills east of Fustat, overlooking his greatest achievement. At death, he left 70 sacks of gold dinars, testament to the wealth accumulated during his governorships. His sons Abdullah and Muhammad refused the inheritance, questioning how their father acquired such immense wealth. Muawiyah confiscated the money, though the incident reveals ongoing concerns about Amr's material acquisitions throughout life. Abdullah briefly succeeded his father as governor before Muawiyah replaced him with a different appointee soon. The Mosque of Amr remained the center of Islamic life in Egypt, expanded and rebuilt throughout subsequent centuries. Though nothing survives of the original structure, the mosque still stands today in Old Cairo district. It represents the oldest mosque in Egypt and Africa, symbolizing Islam's permanent presence on the continent. Amr's administrative systems influenced Egyptian governance for centuries after his death, showing his lasting wisdom's impact. His policies of religious tolerance set precedents that later Islamic rulers of Egypt would follow generally. The city of Fustat he founded grew into a major metropolitan center, eventually absorbed into Cairo, Archaeological excavations at Fustat have revealed the cosmopolitan nature of Amr's original settlement's remarkable character. His conquest of Egypt transformed Mediterranean geopolitics, weakening Byzantium while empowering the Islamic Caliphate permanently. Egypt's wealth and strategic position made subsequent Islamic expansions into North Africa and beyond possible. Historical assessments of Amr vary significantly based on sectarian and scholarly perspectives regarding his controversial choices. Sunni tradition generally honors him as a brilliant companion whose late conversion diminished nothing from achievements. Shia tradition criticizes his opposition to Ali, viewing his political maneuvering as betrayal of legitimate leadership. Modern historians recognize his exceptional talents regardless of controversies surrounding his later political career's decisions. His diplomatic abilities, strategic thinking, and administrative skills remain undeniable despite moral complexities involved always. Amr represents a type common in history, the brilliant strategist whose talents serve multiple masters and causes. His story raises questions about loyalty, ambition, and the relationship between means and ends in politics. Amr ibn al-Aas transformed himself from fierce opponent into devoted companion and master strategist completely. His conquest of Egypt with minimal forces remains a masterclass in combining diplomacy with military operations. As administrator and governor, he established systems balancing Islamic principles with local traditions effectively and wisely. His shrewdness earned him the title the dangerous sly fox and shrewd one of the Arabs permanently. Yet his involvement in the first fitna reveals the moral complexities of serving power during civil conflicts. His final reflections suggest a man aware of his life's contradictions despite his undeniable brilliance. Amr's story illuminates early Islam's expansion, showing how intelligence could match faith's power in conquest. His methods, combining force, diplomacy, and respect for local populations, established patterns for subsequent Islamic rule. Egypt's integration into the Islamic world changed civilization's course, making North Africa's Islamization possible eventually. The mosque and city he founded symbolize Islam's permanent establishment on the African continent's northern regions. His administrative innovations influenced Islamic governance practices for centuries after his death throughout the empire. History remembers Amr as a man of exceptional intelligence who shaped his era through strategic brilliance. His life demonstrates that even late converts can rise to positions of immense influence through dedication. The moral ambiguities of his later career remind us that even brilliant figures face difficult choices. His story reveals how personal ambition and religious conviction can coexist within complex historical figures always. Understanding figures like Amr helps us grasp the human dimensions of great historical transformations throughout time. The shrewd one of the Arabs left a legacy impossible to summarize in simple moral terms alone. He conquered with brilliance, governed with wisdom, and navigated politics with unmatched strategic calculation throughout life. His final words of testimony reveal that beneath the strategist lived a believer seeking divine mercy. Egypt stands today as testament to one man's vision, executed with intelligence that changed civilizations entirely. Amr ibn al-As reminds us that history's greatest figures are rarely simple heroes or villains alone. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history and learned something new today, please like this video. Subscribe to Unleash Facts to continue supporting our work, creating comprehensive historical documentaries, bringing the past to life. Your engagement helps us produce more content exploring the fascinating figures who shaped our world completely. Thank you for watching this documentary about Amr ibn al-As, the shrewd one of the Arabs forever.